The Zodiac Killer is the name given to a serial murderer who killed many in Northern California in the 1960s and 70s. 4 men and 3 women between the ages of 16 and 29 were targeted. Though these 5 were confirmed dead, the Zodiac claimed to have killed 37. The killer coined the name Zodiac in an August 7, 1969 letter to the Bay Area Press. He would continue to write letters and taunt investigators with cryptograms. Of the 4 sent, only 1 has ever been solved. He shot or stabbed his victims, not seeming to favor a specific weapon. The first murders attributed to the Zodiac were of Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday, 2 high school students, on December 20th, 1968. The couple was on their first date and had planned to attend a Christmas concert at Hogan High School. Instead, they visited a friend and got dinner before driving out to Lake Herman Road, a popular Lover's Lane destination. Shortly after 11 p.m., their bodies were found. Next, just before midnight on July 4, 1969, Darlene Ferrin and Michael MacLeod drove into the Blue Rock Springs Park in Vallejo, just 4 miles from the Lake Herman Road murder site. The couple was shot multiple times. Ferrin was pronounced dead at the hospital, but MacLeod survived. On July 5th, a man phoned the Vallejo Police Department to report and claim responsibility for the slaying. The caller also claimed that he was the one who shot Jensen and Faraday almost 7 months earlier. On August 1, 1969, 3 letters prepared by the Zodiac arrived at the Vallejo Times-Herald, the San Francisco Chronicle, and the San Francisco Examiner. They were nearly identical and took credit for the shootings at Lake Herman Road and Blue Rock Springs. Each letter also had 1/3 of a 408-symbol cryptogram, which the killer said contained his identity. The Zodiac demanded they be printed on each paper's front page, or he would cruise around all weekend, killing lone people in the night, then move on to kill again until he ended up with 12 people over the weekend. They were published, but so was a quote by Police Chief Jack E. Stillitz saying, "We're not satisfied that the letter was written by the murderer." He requested the writer send a second letter with more facts to prove his identity. On August 7, 1969, another letter was received at the San Francisco Examiner with the salutation, "Dear Editor, this is the Zodiac speaking." He included more details about the murders which had not been released to the public. It also had a message to the police stating that when they cracked the code, they would have him. On September 27, 1969, Pacific Union College students Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard were picnicking at Lake Berryessa when a man approached them. He was wearing a black executioner's-type hood with clip-on sunglasses over the eye holes and a bib with a cross-circle symbol on it. He approached the couple with a gun and claimed to be an escaped convict from Deer Lodge, Montana. He claimed he had killed a guard and stolen a car, and he needed money to go to Mexico. He gave Shepard pre-cut lengths of plastic clothesline and made Shepard tie up Hartnell before he tied her up. The killer then drew a knife and stabbed them both repeatedly before hiking 500 yards back to Knoxville Road, drawing the cross-circle symbol on Hartnell's car door with a black felt-tip pen, and wrote beneath it, Vallejo 12268, 7469, September 27th, 69, 6:30, by knife. At 7:40 p.m., the killer called the Napa County Sheriff's Office from a payphone to report the crime. The phone was found still off the hook minutes later at the Napa Car Wash on Main Street by radio reporter Pat Stanley, only a few blocks from the sheriff's office but 27 miles from the crime scene. Hartnell did live to survive the attack. 2 weeks later, on October 11, 1969, a passenger got into a cab being driven by Paul Stein, only to shoot him in the head with a 9mm. He took Stein's wallet and car keys and tore away a section of Stein's blood-stained shirt tail. On October 14, 1969, the Chronicle received another letter from the Zodiac, this time containing a swatch of Stein's shirt to prove he was the killer. It included a threat about killing children on a school bus. The Zodiac wrote, quote, "Just shoot out the front tire and then pick off the kitties as they come bouncing out," end quote. He continued to kill and write letters, but his final came January 29, 1974. He had been silent for 3 years, but sent a letter to the Chronicle praising The Exorcist as the best satirical comedy he had ever seen, as well as a score. He wrote me, 37, SFPD, 0. Though the case is often revisited, the identity of the Zodiac has still never been determined.